install Minitab, okay, in your computer, right? And if not everyone has the software, okay, I will ask Pimai to use the software to show how to use the software to construct the control charts based on the data that we have, okay. And then if you do not, actually, and the graph, actually it takes only no less than 1 minute to generate the graph. So if you do not have Minitab right now, so that's fine, okay, you don't have to worry about this. You can use the Excel file that that is here, okay, to do the workshop, okay. But if somebody has Minitab software, so you can follow Pimai, okay, to use the software to generate the charts. Pimai, could you please help? Okay, generate the chart after I tell you to do so. Okay, but before that, okay, let me mention about how do we put the data into the software. Okay, so you can start with Excel, or you can enter the data into Minitab, okay, directly. So when you do control chart construction, so you will collect the data. So in reality, right? In reality, suppose you design to sample the parts every hour, for example. Okay, suppose this hour you produce like 100 parts each hour, but okay, you don't have to collect all of them. You can take sample, and usually if we do X bar and S charts, we will use only about like 4 to 6 data points or parts, sample 4 to 6 parts per time. Per time mean for each sampling, in this case for each hour, you will take sample of 5 parts, okay, on average like 5 parts. Like in this example, so, 1 here means subgroup 1 that you have. Subgroup 1 may be the data from that you produce from 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock, and then you sample 5 parts during that hour. And the first part, okay, you measure it, and then you get the diameter of 25.00. And the next part within that hour is 25. The third part, 25.1, okay. And then you sample 5 parts for the first hour, okay. And then, okay, you move to do production during 9 to 10 o'clock, right? And during 9 to 10 o'clock, you will do random sampling, okay? Or you can do like what we call consecutive sampling, like around, for example, to be easy, you can wait, okay, and then collect 5 consecutive parts within that hour. For example, you can sample it, at 9:45, and then you collect 5 parts that come from 9:45, okay. And then you will have the second sample like this, okay. And then you will wait for another hour, and you can random the sampling time. For example, the next hour you may do sampling at 10:30, and then you collect 5 consecutive parts at 10:30, okay. And then you get this subgroup, and you do it like this, okay. And we need for 25 subgroups at least to construct the control charts. So that means you may have to wait for like 25 hours to get the data set. In this case, we have, let me see, 28 subgroups, or we can say 28 samples, okay. And then we are ready to construct the control charts, okay. So you will copy the data onto Minitab, okay, and then you can start to use the module called control charts to plot the charts. Okay, so up to this point, okay, do you have any questions about how do we collect the data? Okay, so if not, okay, I will ask Pimai to plot the charts for you. Okay, P. Micah,
ค่ะ
could you please show how to do it by Minitab?
ค่ะก็เดี๋ยวให้ก๊อป Data นี้นะคะ แล้วก็เปิดมีแท็บแล้วก็วาง
Mai, have you shared the screen
ได้
yet?
ค่ะโอเคค่ะเดี๋ยวให้ก๊อปเห็นไหมเอ่ย
Yes.
โอเคค่ะก๊อป Data มาวางไว้ใน Column Mini Tab นะคะ
Okay, and then okay
จัง
on the top okay ได้ค่ะ so เดี๋ยวจันพูดให้จะไหม okay
ได้ค่ะ
okay on the top you see okay go to stats module and then control charts and then now we are plotting x bar and s charts right so it variable charts for subgroup okay because we divide the data into subgroups of 5 data points so you click on that and then you select x bar and s right okay and then on the top okay if you click on that arrow you might click like okay you have two choices of how to enter the data into Minitab okay the first row say that all observations for I'm not sure ไม่อ่านให้หน่อยจันมองไม่ค่อยเห็น
All observation for a chart are in one column.
Okay, are in one column. Like in this case, if you see column C1, okay, we put all the data into one column, right? And the first 5 data points belongs to subgroup 1 and 6 to 10, okay, belongs to subgroup number 2, right? Okay. And on the second choice is observations is for subgroup อ่านว่าอะไรนะคะไม่จะมองไม่เคยเห็น
Observation for a subgroup are in one row of columns.
or okay or actually it means that the data are in different columns like we have 28 subgroups right so in this choice that means we will put the data onto 28 rows okay and for each row we put 5 data points in 5 different columns okay and okay that is another choice for entering the data okay but in this case we have the data in one column so you click on the first one in one column okay and then you enter the column name okay by double click C1 okay on the right hand side box okay and then below it asks you to enter subgroup size or sample size so you enter 5 okay because there are 5 data points or 5 parts in each subgroup okay and then on the right hand side you will see x bar and s option okay and this option if you go to the test model okay okay there will be 8 tests remember that from last time we have learned about 8 tests okay to detect for abnormality on x bar or in an s charts and if you click on the arrow okay actually the default of Minitab okay it will use only one rule which is the extreme point that means point beyond the control limits okay it will use only one test okay but if we would like the charts to have more sensitivity to detect the abnormality we can use another 7 tests okay remember run trend cycle 2 out of 3 in zone A or beyond okay 4 out of 5 avoid zone C or run in zone C. Remember that those 8 tests, okay, you can use it by clicking on the choice which is perform all tests, okay, or you can select to perform some tests, okay, it depends on you. But in this case, okay, I will show you, okay, for all the tests, okay, so please click on all the tests, okay, and if you look, okay, down below, okay, เดี๋ยวนะคะน้ำไมค่ะเดี๋ยวokay, please show the test, okay, and if you see, okay, the first test, it say 1 point greater than k อ่านว่าอะไรคะ Mike, could you please read that for me?
1 point K standard deviation from center line.
Okay, so if you read this test and k on the right hand side, if you see the value of k is 3, right? So this test means if you detect 1 point which is greater than, okay, k 3 times of the standard deviation, okay, from the center line, okay, so it will use this test to detect the abnormality, and this test is called extreme point, right, that we have learned, okay, before. On the second, okay, in the second test, it say k points where k is 9, okay, on the right hand side, k is 9. So this test means if you detect, or if the software help you, okay, detect 9 points in a row, right, on the same side of the center line, okay, it will detect abnormality also. And this test actually is called run, right, run below or run above center line, okay, so you can call it in short like it violates the test run. And rule number 3, right, is called k points, which is k is 6, right, so that means 6 points in a row, decreasing or increasing. So this test is trend, right, so you need 6 increases or 6 decreases of the points in a row. Number 4, 14 points in a row alternating up and down, so this is called cycle, okay, the name of the test is called cycle. Okay, so up to this point we have seen 4 rules, okay, we can say 4 rules or 4 tests, okay, and these 4 rules are what we call non-zone rule because it do not require, okay, us to separate the areas of the control chart into zone, right? So one more time, let's review this, or please memorize, okay, the order of the test first, because on the charts, okay, if the points, if it detects, for example, the extreme point, okay, on actually if subgroup number 10, for example, is the extreme point, so on the chart น้องไมค์คะไมค์ช่วยpresent the control chart first, the output, okay, on Excel file, okay, like if you see the output, for example, subgroup number, okay, let's wait, subgroup number 10, like, okay, number 10 in this case, if you see it is shown in the red dots, right, red dots, and it right number 1, okay, on that point, okay, so the number 1 mean rule number 1 that Minitab detect that this subgroup, okay, violate that rule, okay, so if you click on that point, you will see it's called sample equal to 10, right, and test failed is 1, 3, and 5, okay, so actually that point violates 3 rules at the same time, okay, but Minitab will write down only 1 rule, okay, the first rule, okay, that it violates. So it write down only one, which is extreme point, but actually that subgroup, okay, is it shows you that, okay, the points around, okay, that subgroup actually violate rule number 3 also. Rule number 3 is trend. Okay, if you, so that's why you have to remember, okay, so that you will do interpretation faster. Rule number 1 is extreme point. Number 2 is run. Number 3 is trend, and number 4 is cycle. Okay, extreme point, run, trend, cycle. Okay, so that means sample number 10, okay, show you that the trend pattern happen also. But if you take a look, okay, at carefully at rule, test number 3, trend, it requires 6 increases, okay, of the points, okay, consecutively, right? So the trend starts actually from subgroup number 4, right? If you take a look at subgroup number 4, okay, so from 4 to 5, that is the first increase, right? Okay, and then 5 to 6, that is the second increase, okay. 6 to 7, the third time, okay. 7 to 8, okay, 4, 8 to 9, 5, and 9 to 10, 6, okay, so 6 increases, okay, in a row. It represents that there is an increasing trend, okay, in the average, okay, of the diameters of the parts, okay. So that means sample number 10, okay, it tells you 2 things, okay. Right now, the first one, it shows that at that point, okay, the average of the diameters, okay, significantly chip up, okay. And the next thing that it shows is that this, okay, high value actually, okay, it starts, okay, from subgroup number 4, okay, and it's increasing, okay, consecutively until subgroup number 10, okay. And Micah, if you click on subgroup number 10 again, you will see that, okay, test fail is 1, okay, extreme point, 3, trend, and number 5, okay, and number 5, okay, if you take a look at number 5, is 2 out of 3 in zone A or beyond, okay. Micah, please go to mini tab and then show the test, okay. So right now, I'll show you, okay, an example of how do we interpret the charts, okay. And after that, I will let you, okay, to work in groups, okay, to complete all the interpretation, okay. So I will give you like one example, but actually there are many or several abnormality or abnormal pattern that appear on X bar and S charts. So you will do the remaining abnormality pattern, okay, by yourself. Okay, Micah, please go to the test again, A test, go to stat, okay, stat control chart and click on, okay, the test option. Okay, if you, okay, click on the test module again. Okay, so now we will move to rule number 5 to 8. Okay, if you take a look at the rule number 5, it said that K, which is 2, right? 2 out of 3 points greater than 2 times of the standard deviations from the center line. Okay, so greater than 2 standard deviation, that means it belongs to zone A or beyond zone A. So rule number 5, we can call it in short as 4 out of 3 in zone A or beyond. Okay, the next one, rule number 6, it's 4 out of 5 points in zone B or beyond. Rule number 7, 15, right? 15 points in a row within 1 standard deviation from the center line. So this test is run in zone C. Okay, run means consecutive points within one standard deviation, but one standard deviation from the center line we call it as zone Z. So this point is this test is called run in zone C. Okay, and then we have to know that run in this case means it needs 15 consecutive points. But if you have only 14 points, that means this pattern, okay, is not a strong enough evidence to tell you that there is a run in zone C. Okay, so you have to wait for 15 points before you are able to detect this abnormality with this rule. Okay, the last rule, number 8, is 8 points in a row greater than 1 standard deviation from the center line. So it can be greater than 1, in this case mean on the upper side or the lower side. So that means there's no points, okay, in zone C for consecutively 8 points, right? So it avoids zone Z. So we will call this rule as avoidance of zone C. Okay, so one more time, let's review or remember, okay, the rule's name, because if you look at the chart, so you don't have to come back and open, okay, this again. Okay, you can short note, okay, that rule number 1 is extreme point, number 2 is run, 3 trend, 4 cycle, 5 2 out of 3, number 6 4 out of 5, number 7 is run in zone C, right? And number 8, the last one, is avoidance of zone C. Okay, so that when you do interpretation, okay, you will write down the rule's name or the pattern that you detect, okay, easily, so you don't have to come back to this screen again. Okay, now let us take a rest for a while. Okay, and then I will ask, okay, maybe some of you to see if you can remember the order of the test yet. Okay, maybe I'll ask Greek. Okay, what is rule number 4? Do you remember that? Okay, we have all the students right now, right? Great, Ka, are you there?
ครับ
Okay. Remember now, okay, I will help everyone to remember the rule name, because if you take a look at the output or the graph, right, the X bar and S charts, it appears the rule name, okay, on it, so that you can do interpretation very quickly if you can remember the rule's name. Okay, you can match the rule number and the two rule names. Okay, so can you remember rule number 4? What is it? That's okay. If not, Pima, you can show the rules name again, please. Maybe I'll move to, okay?
Trend test.
No, trend is number 3. 10 is number 3. Okay, and let's take a look at number 4. Number 4, great. Let's read that rules, okay? And then could you help answer it again? What is rule number 4?
Cycle.
Yes, very good. Number 4 is cycle. Okay, thank you. Now move to Chanin. Chanin, could you please help tell the rule names of rule number 6? Chanin คะ
ครับ
ค่ะ Can you remember? So if not yet, you can take a look at the screen and then try to answer me. Okay, how do we call this rule in short? Rule number 6?
out of control เหรอครับ
So number 6, if you take a look at that the arrow that P mine, okay, is pointing right now, it say 4, right? 4. In this case, 4 is K. If you take a look, okay, on the right hand side, the number in that box, okay, in those box is k, the value of k. And if you take a look on the left hand side, right, it say k out of k plus 1 points, where k is 4. So this rule is 4 out of 5 points, right? K out of k plus 1, where k is 4. So it's k out of 5, right? 4 out of 5 points greater than 2 times of the standard deviation on numbers. Sorry, let me see. Oh, sorry, greater than 1 time of the standard deviation. But you have to know this first, that remember, I'm not sure you remember that. Okay, maybe I'll show you again. Seems that you do not remember this. Okay, let's revisit this. Okay, in just a few minutes. Okay. Okay, remember this, that usually this is the center line, right? And the upper control limit is set up at mean. Center line represent the mean of the process. And upper
อาจารย์
upper
ครับ
control ค่ะ
อาจารย์ยังไม่ได้แชร์หน้าจอเลยครับ
Okay, thank you. Okay, just a second. Okay, right? So upper control limit usually is set up at mean plus 3 times of sigma, okay? And LCL is at mean minus 3 sigma, okay? So the area from control limits to the center line is 3 sigma, right? Okay, mean and mean plus 3 sigma. So, okay, on each side, the area is 3 sigma. And then if we divide this area into 3 zones, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so this is at 1 sigma, 2 sigma, and then this is at 3 sigma, right? Okay, so again, same thing for the below side. Okay, on the so this 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then we just call this zone as zone C. Okay, so since zone C is right here, and then zone B is defined, okay, as the area, okay, from 1 sigma, okay, to 2 sigma, right? So and you will see zone B, okay, on like 2 sides of the control charts, okay, the upper side and the lower side. Okay, same thing for zone A. So it starts from 2 sigma, right, to 3 sigma. Okay, and if you have the rules, which is 2 out of 3 points in zone A or beyond. So that's mean if you see the point like this, the first point and the second point, okay, and or you can have a pattern like this. Okay, first point, and if this and the second point in zone B, okay, and now you have the third point beyond zone A, okay, beyond zone A. So this pattern, okay, this pattern, it violates this rule, okay, because there are 2 out of 3 points. Actually, if there are 2 consecutive points, okay, in zone A or beyond zone A, you can have things like this. The first one here and the second one here. It violates this rule also, because this point in zone A, this point is beyond zone A, and you have 2 consecutive points in zone A or beyond zone A. So it violates this rule also. And this pattern also violates this rule, because out of 3 points, 1, 2, right, and 3. These 3 points, okay, you have 2 points, which is this point, right, in zone A, and you also have this point beyond zone A. Okay, so you have 2 out of 3 points in zone A or beyond zone, in zone A or beyond zone A, right? So these 3 points is an evidence to tell you that, okay, there is abnormality happen in your process. And that abnormality, okay, if you express it, okay, in more details, so you will say that this pattern, okay, shows you that the mean, right? Because suppose this is the X bar chart, so you will say that X bar express the mean of the process, right? So you will say that this pattern shows us that the mean of the process shift up. Shift means change from where? Okay, it changed from the center line, okay, because the center line, okay, shows you that on average the mean should vary like around this point, right? And the pattern that you should observe is that the point should be clustered in zone C, okay, and okay, there are few points that, okay, in zone B, okay, and very actually pretty unlikely that you will see the points in zone A, because the curve, okay, of the statistic that you plot is normal curve. So if you remember the frequency, okay, or the density of the graph here shows you the probability of observing the points within this each area. For example, in zone A, okay, the probability is pretty low, okay, because the probability is shown by the area under the curve, right? Remember that? Because the density is small, so the probability is small also. And then you will have, you know, very unlikely chance to see the point in zone A. But in this case, if you see like 2, for each point, there is only, if you refer to normal probability, okay, normal distribution probability, the chance that you see the point in zone A is only 2%, okay? And if you have 2 consecutive points, so the probability will be 2%, 0.02 times 0.02, okay? The probability of the events to happen together. Now it becomes very unlikely, which is 0.0004. Is about 0.04%, okay? So this means that if the mean is still at this level, at the center line level, actually you have the chance to see the point, 2 consecutive points in zone A also, but the chance is really unlikely, okay, 0.04. So this test, okay, use this probability concept to create the rule, okay, and then it believes that if we see the points, 2 consecutive points in zone A, we will believe that the mean of the process is not at the center line at this level anymore, okay, but we tend to believe that now the mean shift up to this level, okay, shift up to this level, because if the mean is still at this level, for example, you should see the points that cluster around the middle, not in the upper position like this, okay? But we have to keep in mind that if we conclude that the mean shift up, okay, which is more likely, but we should have to keep in mind that we may conclude it wrong, because if the mean is at the center line at this point, okay, at this point, you have actually 0.04 probability, 0.04% of probability to detect this pattern also. That means, okay, this probability is called type 1 error, or what we call false alarm, okay, false alarm error. That means it's also possible that the mean doesn't shift up, okay, it's still at the center line, okay, but you detect this pattern, and then this alarms you that the mean shift up, okay? And if you believe that the mean shift up, okay, that's mean you make wrong conclusion. You believe that the mean shift up, okay, but actually the mean stay at the same, okay? The mean doesn't shift up. That means you make wrong conclusion or you make type 1 error, and this error is called false alarm, okay? You alarm wrongly that the mean shift up, but actually it's not, okay? So, but that probability is very small. The probability of false alarm error is small, okay? So you can neglect it, okay? And then you can take risks, okay? You can take risks and then you tend to believe, or you will believe that the mean shift up, okay? But just have to keep in mind that you will have this probability of making error. Okay, do you get the concept of this rule? Okay, how do we use the rules? Okay, and this is called rule number 5, 2 out of 3 in zone A or beyond. Okay, and rule number number 6, right? You have 4 out of 5 point in zone B. So it used the same concept, okay? But now you require 4 points, 4 consecutive points in zone B or beyond. Beyond zone B mean in zone B, zone A, and beyond the control limits, okay? So rule number 6, 4 out of 5 in zone B or beyond. You can have the pattern which appears like 4 consecutive points in zone B or beyond, or you can have like, let me write it down. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'll close it first. What's that? Okay. Let me draw something, okay? Rule number 6, 4 out of 5 points in zone B or beyond. So when you say or beyond, you have to keep in mind that zone A or outside the control limits, okay? So if you have center line at this level, okay, center line, and then you have control limits. Okay, so zone B here, right, and A, C, okay? So if you have pattern like this, okay, beyond zone B, in zone B, beyond zone B, beyond zone B, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4 consecutive points. So this pattern, okay, shows you that the mean of the process shift up, okay, up. Or if you have 4 out of 5 points, for example, 1 point here, 2 points here, sorry, 3, okay, 4, and 5, okay, 5 points, but this point is in zone C, right? So not count. You will count only this point, 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? 4 out of 5 points in zone B or beyond. So it violates this rule also. And then you will make interpretation that because this pattern appear on the lower side, that means the mean. Yeah, you will say that the mean, sorry, the mean of the process shift down, okay, down, where here is up, right? Okay, so this is rule number 6. Okay, so if you have this background, okay, then we will go back to the workshop again. Okay, one more thing. Do you think, okay, everyone think about this. if we have, for example, 2 points here in zone B, and we have 2 points here in zone B or beyond, okay? And you have actually you have 4 points in zone B or beyond, right? So if this pattern is an evidence that it violates this rule, okay? The points are on different sides of the control charts, like 2 points on the upper side and 2 points on the lower side. Okay, compared to this pattern, all 4 points are in the same side of the control chart. So this pattern shows you that the mean shift up, okay, for sure. 4 points on the same side, which is the lower side. So it violates this rule for sure. Okay, but this pattern, okay, 4 points in zone B or beyond, right? But it's on different sides of the control charts. So do you think this pattern, okay, this pattern violates rule number 6 or not? Or violate rule number 6 mean you will conclude that the mean shift up or down, okay? So in this case, do you think that there is an abnormal pattern that appear, or there is a shift in the mean of the control charts if you see the pattern like this? Okay, Chanine, can you answer this?
ถามใหม่ได้ไหมครับ
Okay, my question is, if you see, okay, 2 points in zone B on the upper side, right? Center line is here, okay, and you see 2 points, okay, on the lower side of the control chart, okay, then you have 4 consecutive points in zone B or beyond zone B, right? So I asked you that if this pattern, okay, violate rule number 6 or not, or violate rule number 6 mean you will conclude that the mean of the process shift or change from its normal level, which is at the center line.
violate ครับ
Why do you think it violates?
because there is 4 point out of the zone ครับ
Okay, that's right, that we see 4 points, okay, in zone B or beyond, but you have to pay attention to this. These 4 points, actually it divides into two parts, upper side and lower sides. But if you take a look at an average, okay, of these 4 points, okay, 2 up and 2 down, right? So the mean, okay, or the average of these 4 points will be around the middle, right? Around this level, right? Because it's like high value here and low value here, right? So that means it's still at the center line, right? Not like in this case. In this case, all 4 points all have high values, right? So the mean of these 4 points will be around here. Okay, let me get, okay, new color, right? 4 points here. So the mean will be at this point, which is higher, okay, much higher than its normal level, right? Same thing as the lower side here, okay? You will have lower mean, right? And it different, okay, pretty much from the center line, okay? So that's mean, okay? If you see the points, okay, 4 points consecutively, okay, in zone B or beyond, but those 4 points are on different sides of the control charts, so it, okay, doesn't violate this rule. So this rule is applied only the case where those 4 out of 5 points are on the same side of the control charts only. Okay, does it make sense?
ครับผม
Okay. Okay, that's good. Okay, so now let's go back. Okay. Okay, one more time. Okay. You can say rule name or test name. Okay. So let me ask you again. Great. Remember that? What is rule number 4?
ไซเคิลครับ
Great. Okay. Chaninคะ what is rule number 6?
ต้องตอบยาวไหมครับเดี๋ยวย
าวเลยค่ะ complete rule name.
four out of 5 points out of
ฮะ
zone B ครับ
Okay. Not out of zone B because it still includes zone B, right? You can say in zone B or beyond zone B. In this case, means zone A and up outside control limits. Okay, and okay, number 5. Okay. พี่ไมค์ช่วยบอกน้องสักคนค่ะ What is rule number 5?
เลขชื่อเหรอคะอาจารย์
ใช่ค่ะ
สุพิชาค่ะ
And everybody please remember, okay, so that we can do workshop very quickly if we can remember the rule name. Okay, number 5, what is that? You can guess it's similar to 4 or 5.
สุพิชาค่ะ
She's
Number
not here.
5 ใช่ไหมคะ
Okay ค่ะ yeah.
Is 2 out of 3 points in zone A or beyond zone A ค่ะ
Okay, that's great. And do you clearly understand how do we take this the abnormal pattern according to this rule?
ค่ะ
Huh? Okay, are you sure?
So like when we gather the data and like if we found that some points are in zone A or beyond zone A, there's like a really slim possibility that we could see the points in that zone. So like we could count that as an area.
They are very good. That a clear error in this case mean abnormal pattern, or actually that abnormal pattern mean there is a significant shift, okay, to the new level of the mean. Like there's level, okay, level of the mean instead of the normal level, which is here. Okay, that's great. Let's move to rule number 2. Who remember rule number 2? มีนัทนรีไหมนัทนรีจำชื่อได้บางคนมีไหมเอ่ย
ไม่มีค่ะอาจารย์
ไม่มีเหรอนัทนรี
มีแต่ค่ะ
ค่ะเอานันท
อิ
พั
ส
ฒน์
รี
อิสรีโอเคนันทพัฒน์
อาจารย์
นันทพัฒน์คะ could you please help tell the rules name of rule number 2?
run ค่ะ
Very good, run. Okay. And นัทกมลคะ how about มีไหมนัทกมล Okay. Rule number 7.
Run in zone C ครับ
Yeah, very good. And นภกรใช่ไหมมีไหมใช่ไหมคะ
ครับผม
นภกรเอา rule number 1, that the easiest one.
extreme points ครับ
Yeah, very good. Okay. Yeah. Who's next? Maybe check. อนรพัฒน์ค่ะนรพัฒน์ number 3.
trend ครับ
Good. Okay. And ภาวิตค่ะ number 8.
avoidance of zone C ครับ
Good. Okay. So now everyone, please make sure that you remember the rule names. Okay. Match 1 is extreme point. 3 is 10. 5 is 2 over 3. 8 is avoidance of zone C. Okay. Things like that. If you can remember, so we will start to do the workshop. Okay. Let me see. Okay. Okay, so if you go back to the table worksheet, okay, so what I expect you to do is that, okay, for example, if you take a look at this, at the chart here, okay, in the table, okay, number here means the number of the abnormal pattern that you see. For example, pattern number 1, abnormal pattern is that I detect that there is a pattern of mean shift down. Here, mean shift down. If you take a look at the X bar chart first, okay, you will see that the mean shift down. Okay, you will see that these 4 points, you will see that they are marked in red, right? So you have to think that there is abnormal pattern around during those subgroups. Okay, and if you take a look, the center line is here, but these 4 points, okay, are on the lower side. Okay, that means it shows you that the mean of the process shift down. Okay, and to be able to say that, you have to have evidence, okay, or the rules name that it violates. Okay, so there are 3 lines here, right? Actually, it's a clue that there are 3 rules, okay, that help you together to make this conclusion that the mean shift down. Okay, so if you go and click, okay, เดี๋ยวพี่มายช่วยโชว์นะคะ click on each subgroup, okay, to find out the rules name, okay, the rules, actually the rule number that each, okay, of the 4 points, okay, violates. Okay, soพี่มายคะ could you please go back to Mini tab and then click, okay, on point number 4 first. Okay, P might click on the point number 4, and then it says that the test fail is 1, right? So that means you remember the test 1 is extreme point. Okay, so and then you can see it very obviously that point number 4 or subgroup 4 is extreme point. Okay, and let's move to maybe I'll go. Okay, I'll move to Excel first. Okay. And write it down first. So that means rule number 1. It violates rule number 1, which is extreme point. Okay, and it appears on subgroup number 4. Okay, and assignable causes. Okay, so now I require you to think about the possible causes of this pattern. What can make, okay, the mean of the process, okay, shift down or reduce, okay, significantly. Okay, so there are possible causes written down here on worksheet, which is called causes. Okay, and then I recommend you to think about this causes, possible causes, and you can pick up some of them, okay, to be the explanation, okay, of that pattern. For example, you see the extreme point on the lower side, right? That means, okay, you have let me see. control. Okay, suppose you have center line here and lower control limit here, and what you see is that rule test number subgroup 4, okay, is below LCL, right? And usually, okay, the diameter, actually this is the diameter parameter, okay? So usually the diameter is around center line like this, okay? But now, okay, the diameter, okay, is smaller, okay? It's smaller. It moved from here to around here, from the center line, right, to the points around here. So you have to think about the reason or why or what caused the diameters to reduce. Okay, think about the parts. Okay, the diameter in this case, suppose the part is like the rod, okay, of metal, and the diameter is this distance, right? Okay, so if you get smaller, like smaller diameter, that means, okay, subgroup number 4, okay, you have got smaller diameter like this. So now what I want you to practice on how to link the pattern that you see on the control chart to the real action that you will do to correct your process. Okay, so if you have a machining process, right, in this process is maybe like turning process. Okay, you know the turning process, right? You will have like a knife, the tool which is called like, okay, the tool knife, right? And then you feed it, okay, to some depth of cuts. Okay, actually the parts, it rotates, okay, rotate like this with some certain speed, right, in round per minute units, right? And then, okay, you will feed the tool, okay, into the parts, okay, and then you move the knife along this direction, right? Sorry. Which one? Okay. Oh, it's not this one. Okay. Okay. You move the knife, okay, into this direction, right? And then the knife you cut out, okay, this areas of the parts, okay, and since, okay, the parts is rotated, okay, in like a circle, so the knife, okay, will remove, okay, the areas of the part, okay, or the volume of the part in, I'm sorry, in all direction, okay. If you look at the plane of the parts, okay, so it will remove, okay, all the areas around, okay, and the depth here that is removed, okay, is related to what we call depth of cut, right? Remember that depth of cuts, that is the, okay, overlap, okay, distance between the parts and the knife, okay. So this is called, okay, depth of cuts. Okay, so now for example, if we use, okay, large depth of cuts, okay, so the parts will be, okay, like larger depth of cuts, like in this case, okay. Okay, the volume of the part will be reduced significantly, right? And it will cause the remaining diameter to be small. Is that right? So I mean larger depth of cut cause smaller diameter, right? Does it make sense? Okay. So this is an example of the cost that make the diameter reduced, okay? And large depth of cuts, okay, it may be caused, okay, by, okay, if there is an inexperienced worker coming into the process, okay, and then she detect that, for example, let me see. Okay, suppose she take a look at the charts, okay, and then she feels that, okay, these 3 points tend to be like, not tend to be, these 3 points are above the center line. And then if she doesn't have enough, okay, knowledge about control charts, okay, if the correct decision it should be is that even though these 3 points are above the center line, but this is not a strong enough evidence to say that the average or the diameter of the parts is high, okay, because they are still within the control limits without violating any rules, okay. So you have to still believe that the mean is still at the center line, and then you don't have to do any adjustments on the machine, okay. So you should leave it, okay, as usual, okay. But if an inexperienced worker come into the process and then she detect that these 3 points are pretty high, like her feeling, for suppose, that is above the center line. So what she or he is trying to do is that she wants to reduce the diameter, okay. She wants to reduce the diameter down, okay. So what she did is that she changed the depth of cut, okay, use larger depth of cut, okay, and to try to make the diameter smaller, but she used too much, okay, depth of cut, okay, and then too large the depth of cut. That's why, okay, the diameter is now reduced a lot, and okay, and it moved from this level to this level, okay. And now we'll see that, okay, this point is much, okay, below the center line. Now it's below the LCL, okay, and this pattern violates the extreme point rule, okay. So this subgroup number 4, okay, like in this case, right, okay, it's an extreme point. It's just an evidence for us to make a strong conclusion that the mean was shifted down, okay, and the assignable cost may be too large depth of cuts, okay. So you can write it down here, okay. And preventive actions means that if we know that an inexperienced worker doesn't know about, okay, how to interpret the control charts, and then that in this case he or she shouldn't adjust the control charts, but he or she did, okay. And once, okay, he or she did, if she changed the depth of cut, like not that much, okay, the point still can be still also within the control limit, like in this case, okay. But since she doesn't have like enough training or enough knowledge or skills, okay, so she shift, okay, or change the depth of cut a lot, okay. So what you should do to prevent this error from happening in the future again, okay, so you should do like training, for example, through operator training, and also, okay, you may have like the monitoring system, like you should check depth of cut, to make sure that it's in the right, okay, value, okay, periodically. For example, you may say that you have to check the depth of cut every half an hour just to make sure that if there's somebody, okay, making wrong adjustments or not, okay. So you have to check depth of cuts every half an hour. So this can be your preventive action. Okay, do you get what I intend you to do? Okay, so you have to write down the complete, okay, things like this. Okay, and you see that this pattern shift down. I give you the clue that there are still 2 more rules that help you, okay, together with rule number 1 to help you conclude that the mean shift down. Okay, so that means you will move to the next subgroup because subgroup number 4, why only 1 rule, which is extreme point. So now Micah, could you please move to subgroup number 5, okay, to see which test that subgroup number 5 violates. Okay, which test my ช่วยอ่านหน่อย I cannot see. Number 5 อะไรคะมาช่วยอ่านออกเสียงนะคะจะไม่เห็นค่ะ
test fail rule number 5 ค่ะอาจารย์
Number 5, okay. Everybody remember to number 5. What is that? Isalika, could you please tell what is rule number 5?
Hello ค่ะ
Yeah, Isari. Okay. Now subgroup 5 violates rule number 5. So what is rule number 5?
2 out of 3 points ค่ะ
Okay, 2 out of 3 points in zone A, right, or beyond. In this case, if we take a look, okay, by eye, if we divide the areas of the control charts into zone A, B, and C, so seems to me that subgroup number 5 is in zone A, right? So the second pattern, okay, that we observed on this chart is that. So subgroup number 5, think about this, subgroup number 5, so it's the second point, right? Because this rule requires 2 points in zone A or beyond. So that means that the abnormal pattern actually starts from subgroup number 4. Okay, the first point is subgroup number 4, which is beyond zone A. And then subgroup number 5 is the second point that violate this rule, which is in zone A. So you can say that subgroup 4 and 5, okay, is the evidence to tell you that during these 2 hours, okay, the mean of the diameter shift down because subgroup 4 and 5, okay, is in the lower side of the control charts, right? So if you go back to the Excel file, okay, let me share. Let me share first. Okay. So if you go back here, okay, rule number 5, okay, which is 2 out of 3 points in zone A or beyond, right, is a strong enough evidence to tell you that the mean shift down, okay, because you detect that subgroup number 4 to 5, right, violate this rule, okay, and the assignable cost, okay, may be the same thing because they still use too large depth of cuts, okay, continue from subgroup number 4 to number 5. So that is a possible cause also, okay. And preventive action, okay, you can do same thing, right? Okay, so things like this, okay. And now, okay, move back. Mike, my show number sample number 6 which test fail?
Number 6.
Okay, subgroup number 6 test fail is 6. Oh, right, 5, right? Still 5. Rule number 5. Why the still rule number 5? Okay, because now we are at subgroup 6. Okay, so the previous subgroup is subgroup number 5. Okay, is in zone A, right? Now subgroup number 6 is still in zone A. So 2 consecutive points, okay, in zone A. That means this pattern continues from subgroup number 4 to 5 and also to 6, right? Okay, move next to subgroup number 7. Test fail is number 6, right? So number 6, what is rule number 6? Napakorn, could you please help?
4 out of 5 in the zone B or above.
Or beyond, okay, or beyond. Okay. So Nakamon, could you please help? Okay. So which subgroups that violates this rule? I'm sorry. Maybe I'll ask you. Okay.
Subgroup 7 ครับ
Yeah, subgroup 7. Actually, subgroup 7 is the subgroup that you can detect. Okay. The key point is that you detect it on subgroup number 7. Okay, but if I ask you more than that, so this abnormal pattern appear during which subgroups? If the abnormal pattern appear on only subgroup number 7 or other subgroups also. The abnormal pattern here mean shift down, okay? So if it violates, okay, it appears that it violates the rule on subgroup number 7, right? But this rule say that you require 4 points, right? 4 consecutive points, okay, in zone B or beyond. So my question is, the abnormal pattern or the shift down pattern appear or start from which subgroup?
subgroup number 4 ครับ
Yeah, very good, because you need 4 points, right? Subgroup number 4, 5, 6, 7, okay, 4 points. Okay, so that's mean the abnormal pattern. If you go back, okay, to record this. Okay, rule number 6, right, which is 4 out of 5. Okay, in zone B or beyond. It's appear, this normal pattern appear on the subgroups that, okay, violate this rule. Actually start from subgroup number 4 to 7, right? Okay, and the assignable cause, okay, the same. Okay, and now you finish with this pattern. Okay, the pattern that you see here, okay, mean shift down, okay, is supported by 3 rules. Okay, extreme points on detect by subgroup number 4, and rule number 3, okay, detected by subgroup number 4 and 5, and rule 6 detected on subgroup number 4 to 7. Okay, and then we will make this corrective or preventive action, okay, to make sure that this abnormal pattern, okay, will not appear in the future. Okay, will be have less chance to appear in the future, because now we will do better training and we will checked, okay, the depth of cut, okay, frequently to make sure that the depth of cut is still in the right position, okay. Okay, so this is the first ค่ะเชิญค่ะ
ข้อสองครับมันไม่ต้องเป็นสับกลุ่ม4-6หรอครับ
2 out of 3 point oh yeah that's good ใช่ค่ะลืมไปsubgroup number 6 still it violate this rule also, right? So you will say 6 to 5 4 to 6, yeah, that's right. Good. Now, okay, I will have you make, okay, practice about this by yourself. Okay, you can do it in a team. Okay, you can use the channel, okay, that we have already set up. Okay, channel group 1, group 2 to group 5, right? To complete the whole things here, all the tables here. So that is the second pattern here. Okay, third pattern, fourth pattern, okay, that you should be able to detect on X bar charts, okay, and on S charts there's only one abnormal pattern, okay, that you can detect, okay, that you should be able to detect on S charts. So let's, okay, do this in group, okay, and finish, okay, filling out the tables, okay, and then we will come back to discuss, okay, about the results here. Okay, so do you have any questions about how do we do the workshop? And this workshop have 2 points, okay, of the grade. Okay, we have homework scores, right? And then this is one of your homework, okay, but we will do it in class. Okay, if we can finish it in class, so you will be no homework, okay, but I will count this as homework score, okay. So now you can have a break, okay. You can meet in group first, okay, and then talk to your friends, okay, and then if you want to have the break, you can do that, okay, and after that, okay, I will come back, okay, and then to help each team, okay, I will observe, okay, I will not speak anymore, but just observe, and if you have any question, you can, okay, ask me, okay. There are 5 groups, but okay, Pima and I, okay, will go to each group. So if I or Pima do not appear in the meeting, so let's continue, okay, by yourself, and then I will go to the meeting and okay, observe and check, okay, if you have any questions. Okay, now let's do the workshop, okay, and please, okay, try to if you can finish it, okay, like around 11 or 11:15, it would be great, okay, so that we will have some remaining time to move to the next content, okay, the new topic, which is process capability analysis. Okay, so please, okay, work in team right now.
อาจารย์คะฮัลโหล
Hello, everyone. Okay, now we are back. Okay, so now all the teams, I think I'm pretty sure that all the team has got the right answers. Okay, so let's revise it. Okay, and then hand it in by tomorrow. Is that okay? Okay, Pimaika, could you please help make the link to receive files? Okay.
ค่ะ
Okay, now the due date is tomorrow. And okay, so do you have any questions regarding the work in the workshop? Do you still have any questions? Okay, so I hope that this workshop will help you to see in more details of how do we use the 8 rules, right? 8 tests, to detect the abnormal pattern on the control charts. And then you will see that there are many possible causes, but it should link to the right to the abnormal pattern, and the key point is that so you can think in advance about the possible abnormal patterns like mean shift up, mean shift down, in the pattern of trend or just run, and then you can think in advance also about the possible spatial causes of that pattern, and then you can plan in advance also about the corrective or the preventive action that you will do. For example, you will set up the time, the frequency to monitor your knife, your lubricants, and then you can determine the proper tool life, and then you can change the knife before it is getting wear, things like that, to make sure that that those errors that you think about will not appear in the future, right? And then you will get the process which is in control all the time. That is the point of how, or that is the benefit of using control charts, to be able to detect abnormal pattern if it really happen. And we can learn from our experience, our error, to help us to think about the preventive actions that we should do to prevent the error to happen in the future. This is the key or the benefit of control charts. And then I think we have finished the contents of the control charts. So in the exam, you should be able to first select the proper type of control charts. You should know when to use X bar S, when to use X bar R, when to use XMR, PC, U, NP charts. You should be able to pick up the right type of control charts. That is the first point. The second point is that given the type of control chart that you decide to use, you should be able to calculate the control limits. Different types of control charts have different formula to calculate control limits, right? So you should be able to calculate the control limits. And the next thing is that when you get the control charts, right, you should be able to use 8 tests to detect for some abnormal pattern, like what we did in this workshop. So this is the whole point of the control chart section. So in the next class, we will talk about the new content, which is process capability analysis. So we'll analyze the ability of our process. Actually, the process capability is represented by some indicators for example, proportion of defective rates, okay, or how many defects that process generates, or it represents the level or the position of the mean of the process compared to the target that we want, or it represents the variation of the process compared to the tolerance that we allowed. So things like this, okay, is what we call process capability. We want the measures or indicators to tell you about these things. So in the next class, we will learn about this, okay. So for some groups, right, I think you have time, okay, while I talk to other groups, okay, to read the PowerPoint slide, okay. So I require, okay, all the students, okay, within this week, okay, before the next class, please read the PowerPoint slide, okay, about process capability analysis and come up with some questions that you may not understand or do not understand clearly, okay, and then you can ask me in the next class, because in the next class we will cover for some content, okay, which is the process capability for variable data, okay, and for attribute data, the indicator is pretty easy, okay, you can understand it by yourself. But if you're not, okay, we will have some sessions to answer the questions from you, okay. And we have 5 minutes left, okay, so I will not talk about process capability anymore, okay, we will start that in the next class. And now I would like you to talk about, okay, the schedule for the next classes until the end of the semester, okay, because the next week is Songkran holiday. And let me open the syllabus file first, okay. Now we are on 5, okay, April, right, which is today. And then we lack of the schedule because what I planned previously is that we will learn about process capability analysis, but now we have, okay, just finished the controls chart content. So we will move PCA to the next class, okay. And at the end, okay, first I planned that we will have presentation of the information that you have searched, okay. So this is what you did when you, okay, study with Ajahn Damrong, okay. Ajahn Damrong have you to write the report, right, about the how do they control or manage quality in automotive industry, right, and then you have turned in your homework already, okay. So I think I would adjust this a little bit. So, okay, so I do not require you to make presentation anymore, okay, but I will let each of you, okay, to read, okay, the report from other friends, okay, so that you know, okay, more than what you have searched by yourself, okay, and then I may select some important, okay, knowledge from there, okay, and I may ask you in the final exam, okay, it's possible also, okay. So that means we will move the content about MSA, okay, to this last 2 classes. That means we will move down, okay, one more week, okay, and then we will not do the presentation. Mai ครับ Mai เราที่ report ที่น้องๆส่งอะค่ะของอาจารย์ดำรงอะเรื่องการ control อะไรตรงนี้ค่ะเราส่งใน course view หรือว่าเราส่งอยู่ในเว็บไซต์ที่น้องๆสามารถเข้าไปดูของคนอื่นได้คะ
ส่งใน Microsoft Teams ค่ะอาจารย์
Microsoft Teams แล้วสามารถคนอื่นไปดูของคนอื่นได้ไหม
ได้ค่ะอาจารย์
โอเคค่ะ So if you can see, okay, the word of your friends, okay, you should go, okay, and then read the reports from your other 11 friends, okay, so that you have broadened your knowledge, okay, and then I will ask for something from that in your question, in your final exam, okay. So we will have the last class on May 3, and April 26, we can have class on that day, 19, okay, but April 12 is the first day of Songkran holiday, so I'd like to ask you that I think, I'm not sure, so maybe some of you cannot attend the class on April 12th, is that right? มีใครต้องหมายถึงลาสงกรานต์วันสอบสงกรานต์ไหมวันสงกรานต์ไหมคือปกติอะถ้ามันชนวันสงกรานต์เราก็จะหยุดคลาสเนาะแต่ตอนนั้นเผอิญอาจารย์ยังไม่ทันได้เห็นว่าเขาจะหยุดน่ะวันที่12ด้วยตอนแรกนึกว่าหยุด13ถึง15นะคะ so มีstudent คนไหนที่เรียนไม่ได้ไหมวันที่12หรือถ้าได้เราจะ keep วันที่12ไหมหรือว่าเราจะ arrange จัดวันใหม่ดีพวกเราว่ายังไงดีครับแต่พี่ไมค์ไม่ได้นะ12แต่เดี๋ยวถ้าน้องได้เดี๋ยวอาจารย์ดูอาจารย์อาจจะแต่จริงๆก็อยากให้พี่ไมค์อยู่เพิ่นพี่ไมค์พี่ไมค์ลาช่วงสงกรานต์อ่ะจริงๆถ้าเราหลีกช่วงสงกรานต์ได้ก็ดีนะจะได้มีพี่ไมค์ช่วยอะค่ะเดี๋ยวนะพวกเราแต่ไม่เข้าใจว่าพวกเราไม่มีว่างตรงกันในช่วงจันทร์ถึงศุกร์เช้าบ่ายเลยใช่ไหมคะอย่างคราวที่แล้วเราต้องไปเรียนวันอังคารเรียนเมคอัพของอาจารย์ดำรงวันอังคารตอนเย็นใช่ป่ะ
ถ้าศุกร์บ่ายอาจารย์พอได้ป่ะครับ
ศุกร์บ่ายอาจารย์ได้นะพวกเราได้กันทุกคนไหมถ้าศุกร์บ่ายได้จะศุกร์บ่ายนี้เลยก็ได้นะมาแทนจันทร์หน้าเอาไหมคะ
ศุกร์บ่ายผมไม่ได้ครับอาจารย์
ค่ะเดี๋ยวอาจารย์ถามนี้ไล่ไปเนาะเดี๋ยวนะต้องเป็นอาทิตย์ไหนมันยากภายในอาทิตย์ถ้าเป็นไปได้นะภายอาทิตย์นี้เพราะว่าอาทิตย์หน้ามันก็ปิดสงกรานต์ยาวใช่ไหมอาทิตย์19ถึง20กว่านั้นน่ะอาจารย์ได้แค่วันจันทร์เพราะว่าเดี๋ยวอาจารย์วัน20อังคารถึงศุกร์20ถึง23อาจารย์ไปต่างจังหวัดก็ไม่ได้ไม่งั้นมันก็จะทบไป20กว่าเลยมันก็นานไปอ่ะเดี๋ยวเราน่าจะรีบเรียนจะได้ไปอ่านหนังสือไปฝึกฝนอะไรอย่างเงี้ยนะอาจารย์จะมี question แบบที่เพื่อนๆนะคะที่เขาเรียน QC เนาะนะคะในคลาสอื่นนะเนาะเขาทำแบบพูของคำถามอะเกี่ยวกับเรื่องเนื้อหาที่เราเรียนมานะแต่มันก็จะเป็นภาษาไทยบ้างภาษาอังกฤษบ้างนะเนาะเดี๋ยวอาจารย์ว่าจะแชร์ให้พวกเราดูด้วยเพื่อที่ว่าเราจะได้ไปฝึกฝนนะทำโจทย์อะไรเกี่ยวกับเรื่องพวกนี้ค่ะนะเดี๋ยวพี่มายจะแปะไว้ในคอร์สวิวแล้วกันนะแล้วเดี๋ยวมายช่วยแปะว่าจะเข้า URL ไหนนะคะแล้วก็ส่งไปใน LINE กรุ๊ปแล้วกันให้น้องๆเข้าไปดูนะ
ได้ค่ะ
ค่ะโอเคทีนี้เดี๋ยวอาจารย์ขอถามนิดนึงว่าถ้าเป็นอาทิตย์นี้เลยอะค่ะถ้าเป็นวันแต่พรุ่งนี้วันจักรีจริงๆอาจารย์สอนได้นะถ้าพวกเราแบบไม่ได้ไปไหนกันยาวจะเรียนไหมนะมีวันพรุ่งนี้แล้วก็วันพุธคือตอนนี้อาจารย์ยังสลับสเกดูแล้วก็มาสอนพวกเราได้อยู่อะค่ะจะไล่ไปได้ไหมนะคะขอเป็นวันพุธก่อนพุธเช้ามีใครติดไหม
ติดครับอาจารย์วันพุธเช้า
จะพุธบ่ายค่ะ
ติดครับอาจารย์
พฤหัสเช้า
ติดค่ะอาจารย์
ติดครับอาจารย์
พฤหัสบ่าย
ติดครับ
น่าจะติดทุกคนศุกร์เช้าค่ะ
ติดครับผม
ศุกร์บ่ายค่ะ
ติดค่ะ
มันคงติดกันหมดแล้วเนาะแล้วถ้าเป็นเดี๋ยวนะวันพรุ่งนี้แต่วันหยุดจักรีนะเราเรียนกันได้ไหมอังคารเช้า มีใครติดไหม
ของผม
ติดครับ
ไม่ได้ครับ
อังคารบ่ายแล้วครับ อังคารบ่ายได้ไหมเอ่ยเหมือนเงียบแปลว่าไม่มีใครติดใช่ไหมแต่ว่ายอมเรียนกันไหมวันหยุดจักรีเรียนได้ไหมถ้าเรียนได้ก็จะได้จบไป1 คลาสแทนวันสงกรานต์ที่12แต่พี่ไม้ได้ไหมพรุ่งนี้
ได้ค่ะได้ค่ะ
โอเคถ้าไม่มีใครบอกว่าไม่ได้งั้นอาจารย์นัดเป็นสอนพรุ่งนี้บ่ายเนาะแทนวันที่12เช้าโอเคไหมคะ
อาจารย์คะคือพอดีหนูกับเพื่อนอีกคนในกลุ่มหนึ่งมีนัดของบริษัทที่เขาจะสปอนเซอร์ซีเนียร์โปรเจกต์อะค่ะแต่ว่าถ้าเกิดว่ามันไม่ได้เป็นงานกลุ่มเดี๋ยวหนูกับเพื่อนมาตามดูเป็นย้อนหลังแทนได้ไหมคะ
มันเป็นงาน
ทุกคนได้
มันเป็นงานกลุ่มนะสิแล้วอาจารย์ต้องสอนด้วยเอางั้นไม่เวิร์กไม่เอาพรุ่งนี้บ่ายแล้วกันงั้นคงต้องเป็นตอนเย็นแล้วมั้ง4 โมงถึงทุ่มหรืออะไรเงี้ยหรือ5 โมงถึง2 ทุ่มอะไรอย่างเงี้ยพอได้กันไหมเอาเป็นว่าเย็นคือตอนนี้มันน่าจะไม่ได้เวลาอื่นแล้วแต่เสาร์ที่เพิ่นอาจารย์ติดอาจารย์มีสอนแบบภาคนอกเวลาอะไรเงี้ยพอได้ไหมเย็น
เย็นนี่คือเย็นพรุ่งนี้เลยป่ะครับอาจารย์
เย็นวันไหนก็ได้จ้ะเย็นวันไหนก็ได้ยกเว้นวันพุธสำหรับอาจารย์งั้นถ้าใครเอาแค่นี้ก่อนมีใครติดว่าตอนเย็นเราไม่ได้ไหมน่าจะได้สักวันนึงเนาะงั้นขอเป็นเย็นแล้วกันนะอย่างเงี้ยโอเคงั้นอาจารย์ถามไปนะไล่ทีละวันนะคือเย็นนี้เลยเหนื่อยไปไหมหรือไม่ก็แต่พรุ่งนี้เย็นคนที่ไปคุยกับบริษัทคงกลับมาไม่ทันมั้งเนาะใช่ไหมคะงั้นไม่เอานะพรุ่งนี้เย็นพุธเย็นตอนนี้มันมีจันทร์เย็นพุธเย็นพฤหัสเย็นศุกร์เย็นอยากเอาอันไหนกันอยากเอาโหวตพุธเย็นอาจารย์ไม่ได้พุธเย็นอาจารย์ไม่ได้โทษทีงั้นมีแค่วันนี้แล้วก็พฤหัสแล้วก็ศุกร์ถามก่อนวันนี้ถ้าวันนี้น่าจะเหนื่อยไปไหมไม่เอาไหมใครว่าไงถ้าใครไม่เอาก็เดี๋ยวกดไม่ได้นะโอเคงั้นพฤหัสเย็นมีใครไม่ได้ไหมพฤหัสเย็นไม่ติดอะไรกันใช่ไหมแล้วก็ศุกร์เย็นแต่ถ้าเป็นงั้นจัน prefer พฤหัสเย็นมากกว่าเนาะงั้นเอาพฤหัสเย็นนะไม่มีใครติดใช่ไหมคะทีนี้จะเอา4 โมงเย็นหรือจะ5 โมงเย็นดี
4 โมงนะครับอาจารย์
โอเคได้ค่ะมีใครติดไหมพฤหัส4 โมงเย็นถึงทุ่มจ้ะ
อาจารย์ผมขอ4:30ได้ไหมครับพอดีผมเลิกตอนบ่าย4 โมงพอดีครับ
ใช่ควรจะต้องมีเวลาพักนิดนึงทานข้าวหรือว่าเรียนไปที่เอาข้าวมากินไปด้วยก็ได้นะช่วงนั้นโอเคให้งั้นเริ่ม4:30ก็ได้นะเราจะได้มีเวลาพักนิดนึงครึ่งชั่วโมงก็น่าจะดีกว่าเนาะใช่ไหม
โอเคครับ
ค่ะ
ถ้าจะขอเป็นหลังสงกรานต์ได้ไหมครับอาจารย์เพราะว่าวันศุกร์อาจจะมี IAC แต่ครับวันพฤหัสผมเลยอาจจะต้องไม่รู้ว่าต้องมีเตรียมตัวอะไรหรือเปล่าของชมรมครับ
หลังสงกรานต์ไปเลยเหรอคืออาจารย์
คะถ้าเป็น12ก็คือตอนเช้าใช่ไหมคะ
ใช่จ้ะ
น้องๆเขาว่างกันใช่ไหมคะหนูอาจจะพอได้อยู่ถ้า12เพราะว่าหนูน่าจะออกแบบเดินทางประมาณบ่ายๆอะไรเงี้ยค่ะน่าจะทันอยู่
ค่ะคือตอนแรกจะหลบ12เช้าเพราะว่าพี่ไมล์ไม่ได้แต่ถ้าพี่ไมล์ได้แล้วน้องๆมีคนไหนติดไหมถ้า12เช้าก็ดีคืออย่างนี้ถ้าเป็นหลังสงกรานต์นะจ๊ะคือเผอิญจะไปต่างจังหวัดยาวตั้งแต่อังคารถึงศุกร์อาจารย์ก็จะไม่ได้ไงแล้วถ้า19ก็ต้อง19เย็นแต่อาจารย์ก็ไม่ค่อย prefer เพราะฉะนั้นอาจจะต้องขอเตรียมตัวไปต่างจังหวัดเหมือนกัน
ค่ะถ้าเป็น12เช้าหนูอาจจะพอ
12เช้ามีน้องค่ะจะลองถาม12เช้าดูมีน้องคนไหนติดไหมคะ
อาจารย์ครับ หรือว่าถ้าพฤหัสสะดวกกว่าก็พฤหัสก็ได้นะครับ เดี๋ยวยังไงผมตามที่หลังไม่รู้ว่าได้หรือเปล่าตามที่หลังก็ได้ครับ
ค่ะค่ะฉะนั้นตอนนี้มี12มีพฤหัสเย็นใช่ไหมกับ12เช้าแต่จริงๆอ่ะอาจารย์ prefer เช้าก็ดีนะถ้าพวกเราไม่ติดอะไรอ่ะถ้าไม่มีใครแบบติดไปสงกรานต์ยาวอะไรแล้วสะดวกเรียน12เช้าได้ อาจารย์ก็ prefer เวลานั้นแล้วก็น่าจะดีกับเราด้วยเนาะทีนี้งั้นลองถามอาจารย์ถามดูอีกทีนึงถ้าเปลี่ยนเป็น12เช้าคือจริงๆ12เช้าเหมือนเดิมมีใครติดไหมคะงั้นเหมือนไม่มีนะงั้นเราสรุปเป็น12เช้าเลยแล้วกันนะคะทุกคนนะโอเคค่ะงั้นไม่ก็ฝากเนาะ12เช้านะจ๊ะเหมือนเดิม
ได้ค่ะอาจารย์
โอเคค่ะแล้วคราวหน้าเราเรียนเรื่อง PCA กันนะคะจ้ะงั้นวันนี้ก็เท่านี้นะก็กันบ้านก็ชิวๆเลยนะทำในห้องเกือบเสร็จแล้วนะก็ไปสรุปทำแล้วก็ส่งภายในพรุ่งนี้นะคะแล้วก็ระหว่างสัปดาห์อย่าลืมอ่าน PCA มาก่อนนะคราวหน้าก็จะได้ไปเร็วหน่อยเวลาอาจารย์อธิบายอะไรนะคะโอเคค่ะสวัสดีค่ะ
สวัสดีครับ
ขอบคุณครับ
พี่ไมค์ฝากทุกคนนี้ด้วยถ้าเราจะแบบฝึกฝนทำโจทย์คอนโทรลชาร์ตนะเผื่อจะทำไปตั้งแต่เนิ่นๆเตรียมสอบไฟนอลอะไรอย่างเงี้ยพี่ไมค์ก็โพสต์เลยแล้วกันนะเรื่องโจทย์อะค่ะ
ได้ค่ะเดี๋ยวคนให้
นะโอเคค่ะสวัสดีค่ะทุกคน